Hey, you remember back in the day when we were small children growing up, learning to refresh ourselves before we retired for the night, going to bed, and some of us were taught to say that prayer, something like, as I lay me down before I sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Something like that. Remember that? It's kind of funny as I'm decades later reflecting on that prayer. Still very valuable for us to reflect on what that means. And really, it is tied into what I mentioned to you about dreams and heaven, those visits with heaven. I know it's still a stretch to consider that perspective from this guy you don't know, but just keep that in mind as I'm talking about this today. And we all, maybe many of us, had that experience to learn that prayer. But how about instead of pray the Lord my soul to keep at the beginning of that prayer, maybe we would say now, as I reflect on this, pray the Lord my beauty to keep. Pray the Lord my beauty to keep. Almost like when I mentioned to you in other previous episodes about dreaming or the dream of heaven. Meaning, and I'm guilty of this for many, many years, probably decades, that I didn't consider the possibility of dreaming. I even resisted that thought that dreaming, I don't dream. But again, I'm a slow study. A few years ago, I came to the revelation, if you will, that, oh yeah, I do dream. We all dream. Some will say, like the esteemed Mr. Eckhart Tolle, he would say, we are dreaming all the time. Also, Don Miguel Ruiz, I think in the Four Agreements, he said something like that as well. We're dreaming right now. Or at least his perspective is that we are all dreaming almost 24 hours a day. So, I'm not going to get into that today, but I would advise you to look into what Mr. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, A New Earth, and also Don Miguel Ruiz on the Four Agreements, even the Fifth Agreement. He can put it, both of them, in a more eloquent and elegant way than I'm trying to summarize here today. But as I mentioned about that dreaming of heaven, when you lay down and you're restoring your body, not you actively and directly, your higher power is doing that for you. Just like that higher power has given us the spirit, the spark of life, that blood, that heart, this air to sustain us in whatever we're doing here. Hopefully it would be what we're doing to pursue and express that purpose and message that we all have, that resilience that I keep talking about. But anyway, as I was mentioning about the dreaming of heaven when you lay down, I am suggesting that that's when your beauty gets restored, your essence gets refreshed. And under that context and construct, think about this. Again, more questions, right? Who breathes you while you are asleep? Who and what breathes you while you are asleep? Who keeps your internal lights on when you lay down to rest? Who keeps the infrastructure, the gears and wheels turning while you retire for the day? Who maintains and regulates the constant steady beat of your heart? Yes, the blood and that love flowing through it. And lastly, in the context of this episode, who gave you your beauty? Who gave you your beauty? I appreciate this concept or idea sounds at once probably quite ethereal and then simple at the same time. I make the presumption that my fellow resilience travelers out there agree with our common connection and source. Perhaps through different names or symbols or traditions, but we do have more in common than indifference at the core and the source of life reference. back to those visits to heaven. Those visits to heaven is not just for a day or on a night trip excursion. Those trips, those refreshes, those retreats, if you will, have real purposes and reasons. Meaning, as I said earlier, to refresh and restore the heaven on earth, the heaven on earth in you, and to restock on the beauty given to you since birth. Maybe just as a reminder, but I want you to consider that activity of rest and restoration, you looked at as your daily re-up of heaven and beauty within that you will need upon your return to the lowly parts of hell on earth. Meaning you get refreshed at night or whenever you take your rest, get your beauty and your love refreshed by your higher power, because you need to return to, yes, that living hell sometimes we all go through in some form or fashion, in some smaller or larger measures, but we all have to go through that. That thing called heaven on earth exists, but so does the hell on earth. They both exist. But when you have visited with your higher power or God or universal subconscious mind or Allah or Buddha, you can revisit the life on earth now, fully restocked with the new provision of beauty and heaven that was already graced to you, but it's been updated. However, with only one little catch, I'm asking you to maintain awareness and exposure of that grace given to you, and to share that provision with whoever you encounter on your journey in resilience today. You only get a daily provision. Remember, all about this present moment, this day, this moment. You get one daily provision. Let's call it 24 hours. And you might get during that day, that 24-hour period, a moment-to-moment software update, and only through your Courage API. You have a long day ahead of you, maybe even just a short one. But remember, this day is your best and maybe our last. Enjoy the eternal beauty in heaven for just as long as you stay aware of it. And stay aware of it under any condition or circumstance. Yes, that's very easy to say and proclaim from my comfy couch and in my bunny slippers. Yes, that's possible. A bit harder when tough times hit you. Just consider, while we do have the capacity and limited sanity and patience to work on the discipline on top of your raw desire, that also supports your direction through what drives you. But now that you've had your beauty sleep, wake up. Stay present. Stay current. No matter where you are in this world, please remember, it is always 8:20.